Mirrorless camera batteries, specifically the Canon R-system batteries, aren't known for their great battery life, especially when compared to the DSLRs. You may find that battery dies at the worst possible moment and you miss the shot. But there are some things that you can do with your camera settings, changes from the default settings, that'll help you get a little more life out of each charge. So that's what we're going to look at here, some settings to help you extend your Canon R camera battery life. And I kind of like to separate these into different camera systems. There's settings for the focus system, settings for the camera display systems, and then some miscellaneous systems, and then habits that you can use while you're actively photographing. All of these things combined will, they may seem insignificant, but they do all add up to help you get more shots out of each charge. So let's start by looking at that focus system and some focus settings that you can change to get more out of your battery. We're going to start in your AF menu looking for Preview Autofocus, or it may be called Continuous Autofocus in older cameras. If this is enabled, that means that your autofocus system is going to run all the time, whenever the camera is on, not just when you're commanding autofocus. And in theory, this helps you get a faster focus lock when you are ready to take the picture, because the camera has already been focusing underneath your focus area, but that drains the battery really fast. Canon's autofocus system is already fast enough that this feature is unnecessary for most situations. Now let's talk about the focus modes. If you are always in servo autofocus, so that autofocus motor is running whenever you're pressing the shutter button halfway or using the back autofocus button, that focus motor is using energy from the battery. And if you're photographing still life, you don't need that focus motor to be constantly running once you've already achieved a focus lock. So only use that servo mode when you actually need to track something that's moving. The rest of the time, just go to one shot. Get that focus lock, and then once that focus is locked, that motor is no longer using battery power. Better yet, try using the back button focus technique. So the autofocus system no longer comes on every single time you press the shutter button. It only comes on when you hit that button on the back of the camera to focus. And that means that if you're photographing the same scene with the same aperture and distance and focal length, you don't need to refocus for every single picture. You don't need to use all of that energy for every single picture. So use back button focus, hit that back autofocus button when you need to focus, and then you can just press the shutter button whenever you need to create a picture without that autofocus system continually running. I'll have a little outline in the video description if you're interested in setting up back button focus. And finally, in that AF menu, you have the AF Assist Beam. That's that little lamp on the front of the camera that illuminates that orange light to help the focus system find contrast in low light. This is worth disabling if you're not regularly shooting in very dark conditions or your subjects are not really close. It does have a limited effective range, and these cameras can already focus really well in low light. So try turning this off and see if your autofocus system still works in the situations that you're in, and then just leave it off if it is. Regarding your focus system, just remember that every time that autofocus system is active, the processor is using power to assess whether or not the focus is locked, and it's also commanding that autofocus motor to move, which uses even more power. So try to limit that autofocus system from running as much as you practically can. Now that we've looked at some of the focus settings that eat up your battery, let's take a look at some of the display settings. Your camera displays use a lot of energy, and so the easiest thing that you can do is just turn down the brightness. You'll find this in the setup menu, and I know it's really easy to say, I love having that brightness all the way up. It's just so easy to see on that nice big LCD screen, but that's just sucking energy out of that battery faster than you'd believe. So I'd recommend keeping this at the lowest possible setting for you to see your composition. You have separate settings for the screen and the viewfinder, And for the viewfinder, you could just leave this in auto. That works really well when you're in bright conditions. It'll crank up the brightness, but when you're indoors in low light, it'll turn that down. And then for the screen brightness, again, keep it at the lowest possible setting for you to actually see your composition. Now, this means that you may be changing that setting a lot, but you can program this to either My Menu or the Quick Control menu for faster access. You also have the Viewfinder and LCD auto switching feature. That's the screen viewfinder display. And that electronic viewfinder and the eye sensor actually uses more power than the LCD screen, according to Canon. Now, I like the Auto 2 function here. That means the LCD screen is on, and it's going to dim after the dimmer timer that we'll talk about in a few minutes. But if you bring the camera up to your face to use the viewfinder comes on and the LCD will shut off. But you still have that LCD screen on the rest of the time if you need to use that. And again, you have different dimmer timers and shutdown timers and the brightness that we just talked about, all which help conserve power when using that LCD screen. And then the last relevant setting for your displays is the display performance setting, which you'll also find in the shooting menu. I'd recommend leaving this in the power saving option. That's the lower frame rate, unless you are photographing fast action and that lower frame rate is actually impeding your ability to keep up with that action. Then temporarily set smooth, the faster frame rate. And when you no longer need that, go back to power saving. Those faster refresh rates will also drain your battery a lot faster. In addition to the focus settings and display settings, here are some additional miscellaneous camera settings that you can take a look at to help you get more out of each charge. There are some connectivity settings that use a lot of battery power. Those are the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth less so than the Wi-Fi, but they both use power if you're not actively using them. And if you're not using any of these features, they're just draining your battery faster than you want it to. So you could individually disable all of these or just turn on airplane mode. Airplane mode will shut down any transmitters and receivers to further conserve power. Speaking of which, if your camera has a built-in GPS, that GPS is running all the time. And if you're not using that geolocation data, and there are other ways of geolocating your photos, completely disable this when you don't need it. Other settings worth checking out, there's the power saving setting in the setup menu. This will let you adjust your screen dim times, when the screen turns off, or the viewfinder off, or the auto power off. If you set them for the shortest practical time for you, that can help. Just be aware that these may also affect the shooting screen and the menu and playback screens differently. The viewfinder off time tells the camera when to turn the viewfinder off if you're using it, and that time also deactivates the eye sensor if you're using one of the display switching options. Just be aware that if the camera is constantly turning off and on and off and on because of these short times and you're constantly waking it up, that can actually use more power than if the camera just stayed on, depending on how you have some of your other settings configured. One of those settings is the sensor cleaning option, also found in the setup menu. Running that automatic sensor cleaning on startup and shutdown every single time really adds up and uses power. You could set this to at power off only, which means the sensor will only clean when the camera is shut down, or better yet, just completely disable that so that sensor cleaning feature is not running whenever the power is cycled, and you can just do a manual cleaning if you noticed any kind of dust spots on your sensor. The image stabilization feature is another one that draws power. This is always on whenever the camera displays are powered on. So if you're on a tripod or you're photographing with faster shutter speeds and you don't need image stabilization, go ahead and turn that off. If your lens has an image stabilization switch, you can use that switch on the side of the lens. Otherwise, you'll have to do that in the camera menus. There's another useful menu, not really a setting, but in the setup menu, a lot of Canon cameras have a battery info menu. This shows you how many shots that you've had on the current charge, and you can actually track that to help you judge your battery performance. You may notice that you're getting less shots per charge, and that means that it might be time to get a new battery. It also tells you your recharge performance, and if that's down at the lowest setting, it's time to get a new battery because it can no longer hold a charge very well, and you're going to get fewer and fewer shots per charge. Additionally, let's talk about some of the shooting settings. If you are only recording the RAW file format, I'd recommend disabling all of the JPEG only settings. Now, these settings are going to be applied to the RAW preview file that you'll see in playback or in your image browsers on your computer, but these do use processing power. When that processor is running more, it's consuming more battery power. These settings include the auto lighting optimizer, highlight tone priority, clarity, the creative filters, aberration correction, and high ISO speed noise reduction. And now finally for some, not necessarily camera settings, but some actual habits that you can start doing today that'll help you extend your battery no matter which kind of camera you're using. The first habit you can start getting into is just have good shutter discipline. In the age of digital photography, it's just so easy to press the shutter every time you think you might want to take a picture because digital storage is almost free. It costs nowhere near what it costs to buy a roll of film and then develop that film. So a lot of us today are just taking way too many pictures, and that uses more battery power. So be disciplined about when you take the picture. Have a reason for pressing the shutter button. It's the right moment. Everything is composed just the way you want it and exposed properly. Don't just take a picture for the sake of taking a picture. And then that also applies for when your camera is in that standby power saving mode. You can wake it up just by tapping the shutter button. Well, every time you do that, that's using power. So again, only do that when you know that you're going to take a picture so the camera's ready to go. And then the other thing that you can do, and this is very important for photographers who photograph in cold weather, is keep your battery warm. Cold weather really limits the available charge in your battery, so you need to keep those warm. And the easiest way to do this is just to keep it in your pocket next to your body so that it can absorb your body heat and come up to temperature so that when you're ready to shoot, like say you're out on a hike or something, you keep it in your pocket, and then when you're ready to start shooting, you pop it in your camera. So it's going to be closer to like room temperature rather than the ambient air temperature, because if it's at that ambient air temperature, it's really going to limit that charge. So keep your batteries warm, and then if you stop photographing for a while, take the battery out of your camera and put it back in your pocket next to your body. And if you're carrying a spare battery, which I'd recommend everyone do, especially if you're photographing in cold weather, also carry that spare in your pocket next to your body and not in your camera bag. Speaking of spare batteries, I know a lot of you like to use those little tiny battery sticks that work great for charging cell phones. If you don't have a wall outlet to plug into, just note that most of these don't deliver enough wattage to be able to charge the Canon batteries in the camera. So that's why I'd recommend you use a spare Canon battery rather than a battery stick. Just buy a spare because you can't rely on those portable power sticks. And then finally, and this should go without saying, but start your day with a full charge. If you know you're going on a shoot, charge up all of your batteries the night before or the morning of if you have time. Make sure those batteries are fully topped off. Because if you just leave them in your bag and they sit there unused for a period of weeks or a month, they're going to slowly drain, and that battery's not going to be at 100% when you pop it into your camera. So if you find that your battery for your Canon R-series mirrorless camera isn't lasting quite as long as you want it to or you need it to, take a look at your focus settings, your display settings, those miscellaneous camera settings, and maybe think about approaching shooting in a different manner so that you can get more out of each charge. For a full walkthrough of all of Canon's menu systems and setup, focus tools and exposure tools and camera customization, you can check out my Canon R Photography Fundamentals course that is linked here in the video description that's applicable to the entire range of Canon R-series mirrorless cameras. You can save 20% off of that course with the code TUBE20. Please let me know if you have any other questions or additional ways that you can get more out of your battery. Subscribe for more great tips like this every week, and I hope to see you in the next video.